Purple Warriors podcast. I'm your host, Ali Sugars, and thank you for joining us. This podcast is about raising awareness for domestic and family abuse by allowing survivors to share their own journeys to recovery. You will find practical yet powerful information and tools that you can immediately implement into your own journey to recovery. You will also hear information on how you can help someone you suspect may be in a toxic relationship. To support this podcast and get access to amazing bonus content, click Become a Patron for more information. If you have a story to share, reach out to me, Ali F. Sugars, on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. Hosts and guests will often discuss sensitive topics in detail. While this is done with the utmost respect and dignity, this may cause triggers for some listeners. Hello, my lovely Purple Warriors, and welcome to this episode of the podcast. Now, we have another incredible guest who has come on to share her personal story with us today. We have Suzanne Ingleton, who is the founder and owner of Your Inner Calm Coach, and she specialises in hypnotherapy for weight loss as well as Reiki. So welcome today, Suzanne.
Thank you, Ali. It's really great to be here. I feel quite privileged actually to be able to spend some time with you and the lovely people that are going to be watching this podcast.
Beautiful. We always welcome people to come on and share their stories because, as I've said many a time, it's healing for not only the people who listen, but also to the people who share their stories as well. So thank you again. So Suzanne, tell us today, what made you decide that it was time to come onto the podcast and share your story with us?
That's a good question. So I was aware that you were running podcasts, and I had in the last year been volunteering in Healing Through Love, which helps to support victims of domestic violence. And I had, I suppose, hidden a little bit from that aspect of myself. I just felt a bit more, I didn't know whether I should let people know or not, or was I or wasn't I. But I feel much more confident now. And, you know, there's two parts to my story, and it's taken me several years to be able to feel confident enough to tell people or just verbalize what has happened to me. And I saw you on another program, and I just thought, wow, I actually feel brave enough to do this now. So, and you just have this lovely, gentle, natural way about you. So I thought, yes, I'm in safe hands, and I would love to be able to, tell my story.
Lovely. And I think actually a point that you brought up just then, really, really important, is that, you know, I'm always putting out the invitation for people to come and share their stories, but it is really important, particularly given the topic that we're talking about, that people do feel ready to do so. You know, if they're not ready, it's simply not their time. So, you know, thank you for recognising that it is your time.
No, it's good. It's as you say, it's very therapeutic, and it just allows you to let go. I mean, I've let go of a lot of my stuff, thankfully, but this is, I guess it is a little bit of a test for me to see how it all comes out. But I'm feeling pretty good, so thank you.
No doubt you're going to be wonderful. So, Suzanne, tell us when your abusive experiences began.
Yeah, sure. So second marriage, and I fell in love with this most amazing man who was very, kind and gentle and generous, and all my friends said, "Wow, have you got a twin brother?" And it was all pretty fairy tale. And got married within a year. The cracks started to show. Basically, he became very over emotional and would just explode with anger around little things which I didn't really understand. And I found myself walking around on eggshells, and I found myself increasingly trying to please and cowering. There were so many times where I was cowering on the kitchen floor in the corner, with him standing over me and just yelling all sorts of nasty stuff. But I thought my mind was a bit, I could never really understand. I didn't know what was going on. And so it was all very unreal to me that, you know, one minute he was this perfect man, very generous and, you know, kind, and particularly around other people wanted, you know, he would just pay for everything and everyone would go, oh, he's so amazing. And so I was very confused about all of that. And so therefore I just thought it was my fault. I was always the person that upset the apple cart. And so I just tried to do everything in my power to please. I guess that's where it started, but it continued on when we decided to have children, and I'd already had 2 grown children, and I was 40. So it was, you know, it's a big ask at the time, but once again, I just wanted to please this man and give him the gift of child, you know, having children. And so it didn't go very well. I had several miscarriages, and we went down the path of IVF, and that's pretty harrowing in itself. And no joy there either. Still, I wanted to, I don't know why, wanted this man to have a child. So I suggested that donor egg. We like, you know, we were going to go full on. So we travelled to Colorado and went to the donor egg. And shortly after coming back, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought that this would be, you know, I was starting to feel I need to stop. I wanted to stop. You know, I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to say no to this man. And for fear of upsetting him, for fear of goodness knows what was, you know, going on in the background. And finally I went, oh God, I can stop. But no, he wanted to continue, and I thought, God knows why. So anyway, eventually we did stop trying, and we had to move states. And on moving states, he became more abusive, verbally abusive, drinking, and I discovered he was a gambling addict as well. So I had all of these, and I didn't have family around me, and it was pretty tough. I was feeling very isolated and just constantly on guard, and trying to contend with this gambling addiction and drinking. He wasn't a functioning alcoholic. I discovered later on. I didn't know what that was, but I later on discovered that was. From there we moved to another state, Queensland, and I had to start my life all over again. And I was a personal trainer. My oncologist at the time, when I had finished radiotherapy, my oncologist said to me, the best way for you to survive this thing is to become fit and healthy. So I took that literally, and I became a personal trainer, and I thought that, you know, that's what I wanted. Well, that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. And the last thoughts when I left, when I walked out of my very last radiotherapy session, in my mind was going, I have to give back, I have to give back. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. But I was just so overwhelmed by the generosity and kindness of people who were looking after others going through a cancer experience. It just, you know, it was very new to me, and it was very overwhelming. So I just wanted to give something back. So I thought, yes, I can do this by being a personal trainer. But of course, having personal clients, that just aggravated him even more, and I began to feel very isolated. He got very agitated if my family wanted to come and visit me, so he was, you know, doing that disconnecting, or I don't know, separating me from my family. And it got worse and worse until finally he called it, and thank God I said yes, because being a second marriage, I didn't want to call it. I didn't want to say, this is it, because I wanted to give it everything. I thought, I can't do this again, twice married. Eventually we did separate, but he was not to the point of stalking, but I was truly frightened, and I went to see a friend of mine who was a counsellor, and she suggested, based on what I'd spoken to her about, is I needed to get a domestic violence order against him. And that was an experience in itself, trying to go to the police station and tell people that, and this was after I'd been sat down by my daughter's friend at the time was a policewoman, and she said, look, I do not want to be sitting next to a hospital bed talking to you about, what has happened. She was saying, it doesn't matter if it's verbal or physical. Verbal can lead to something else. And I didn't even realise that it was domestic violence. I just thought I was making him unhappy, and that it was always my fault. So I guess it was a bit of a surprise to me right at the end that it was all around domestic violence. So that was a surprise.
That amazes me, and it is pretty well much every single person that I talk to who tells their story, whether it's on this show or whether it's privately. Their abusers are so clever that they work the other person to always think that it's their fault,
Yeah.
and that was my case too, and it frustrates me, and this is why we get people like you coming on to share their stories, because it's like, it is not your fault. Abuse is wrong. It's never right. Sorry, that's just me having my little rant there.
Yes, and look, because it is such a surprise, I suppose this is, another reason to come on and say to people, if it's not right, it's not right. We don't have to be a victim. I didn't realise I was a victim to it. I allowed it to happen. Because I thought it was my fault. I just went, oh, I'm a coward, and it took the verbal abuse. I couldn't fight back. And when I tried to, he would turn it around and twist it. All the words would get twisted and turned, and I thought I was going nuts. I thought my brain was just short-circuiting, and I wasn't understanding things, and I was, my mental capacity was becoming diminished because I couldn't understand or answer him in a way that he would respond in a positive way. Not that it could have been positive at that point, but everything was twisted and turned, and he was a very intelligent man, very intelligent. So therefore, I thought that I was the lesser, and but now I know that. I learned a lot, and from the experience of having cancer and going through this, I've just learned that I'm so much stronger, and it is possible to rise above victimhood. We don't have to be there. We can survive and thrive.
Absolutely, love it. So tell me, when you did originally separate, and when you went and got the order against him, did you stay separated?
Yes. So that was interesting. I had to move out. He was going to stay in the house that we were living in, and fortunately we had two bedrooms. So, but in the process of me trying to find somewhere to live, he demanded that I pay rent. It's just crazy. We once I found somewhere to live, I moved out, and that was really tough, financially. There was a church group that I used to go to, because I was, money-wise, my business was very new, and I could only just afford to pay the rent, and sometimes I didn't have enough money for food, and I used to go to this church group, and because they offered a free meal. It was pretty hard, walking around the supermarket with a calculator, putting things back. No, it didn't go back. If we had anything to discuss, I had to initiate it in a shared space, like, you know, a coffee shop. I could never, I was too frightened to be in the same space with him because his presence and, you know, his verbal manipulation was just so strong. Yeah, so no, I didn't go back.
Good, yeah, because I think that I mentioned this to you the other day when we were talking prior to this interview, was all about trauma bonding, and it was you, yes, and you know how people, abusers will, like I've said, they will convince and isolate, like you said, you were getting isolated from your family, and it was like you feel like you don't have anywhere else to go. You don't have any friends, you don't have any family, and you kind of feel stuck in the situation.
Yes, and no financial means either, you know. So I was held there by my own doing, I suppose. Financially, I didn't think that I could do it. I could survive. What would I do? How would I get money? My business was just so very new. It's a franchise, huge fee to be paid out every month, and So, but eventually, I do remember though. Because we lived in 2 different states. In the first state that we moved to, I did actually run away under the pretense of looking after one of my children, which, you know, that wasn't a pretense. I needed to go back home, but I didn't intend to come back. But yeah, I felt sorry for him, and I did. I don't know why I did that either. So perhaps that's that part of trauma bonding. You know, I thought, oh, okay, well, he needs me. But that wasn't a good move. Never mind.
And well, that is the exact example that I'm thinking of, you know, because they will convince you that, you know, they need you, where you know, or that even you need them.
Yes, and that's what I thought. I thought that I thought he needed me and I needed him. I don't know. I just thought I could fix it somehow. I couldn't. I did want to say that during when we separated and when I was finding my feet, feeling very broken and I was looking to fix myself. I didn't know how to do that. But I came across a women's retreat, and I went on this retreat, and absolutely my business accountant wrangled something that enabled me to extract some money to pay for this retreat, because I didn't have any, there was no financial settlement at that stage. And I went on this retreat, and I think that was another turning point in my life. So having cancer was the catalyst for change for me to, go on to a health and wellness path. But going to this retreat and being able to release the trauma within me was another catalyst for change within me and growth. And that's where I met the most amazing woman called Belinda Bell-Slack-Smith, and she wanted to, and this is where I was exposed to energy healing, and I didn't know what Reiki was. I had no idea. I just went, I went to this thing, and there was lots of crystals everywhere, and people would put your hands on your shoulders, and you just go, oh, wow, I feel so good. And I don't know, I was just a girl that ran around in the park. I was a personal trainer, and I didn't know anything about spirituality or anything. I did go to church, but I got a free meal there. So she got in touch with me after the retreat, and that was just an amazing experience. And she said to me, I wouldn't mind some personal training sessions, but I don't have any money. Can you, I'll teach you Reiki. And I went, oh, okay. But I didn't know what Reiki was. I said, yeah, that's good. Because I loved what I did. She wanted to be fit and healthy, so I thought, yeah, okay, that's a fair exchange, whatever that is. And so she taught me Reiki, and that was another catalyst for change. That was the trajectory that really put me on a path that got me home in one piece. It got me to a place where I felt strong, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to move forwards and to create a new life. I was just so astounded by the effects of Reiki, what it could do for people. And because I was just, I was just an everyday person, I thought that things like this, you had to be a bit, woo-woo or something. But I thought, well, if I can learn Reiki and get so much benefit for myself and healing for others, I was very hesitant to call myself a healer for many years, but now I know, we are all healers within. We all heal ourselves, have the ability to heal ourselves. So then I wanted to be able to teach Reiki, which I do, and that's another passion of mine, is to be able to teach this beautiful, gentle, healing energy to people so that they can begin to heal themselves as well. So it just helped me on another level, on a spiritual level, to be able to shift, to move forwards and to start again. And all these opportunities just did come my way. And I followed each and every one. Sometimes I went this way, sometimes I went that way. So, but I took advantage of every opportunity that came, and it just led me to where I am today. And I really don't think I could have done it from all the experiences. So with cancer, I forgave cancer. I'm not sad that I got it, because I wouldn't be the person that I am today had it not been for cancer. And so I am grateful for that experience. And then moving forwards, for every experience that I've had, I've taken, I've learned something from it to help me and, to grow for now. And ultimately to share with others and let them know that, yes, you can rise above stuff, and you can be strong and resilient, and you can experience joy and happiness in the midst of the all this stuff. I didn't even know what the word joy was. In fact, I had contemplated committing suicide, driving off the side of the road, and I can say that hand on my heart, I had contemplated that. I had no idea. Somebody talked about joy, and I thought, what's that? It's just 3 letters. It doesn't mean anything. But now I can say that I have joy. I found joy. I know what it is. I experience it, and I want other people to know that there is happiness and love and joy out there as well.
Beautiful. And you can see that all over your face when you talk about it too, which I just love. I love interviewing people like you, where you can see how happy you are in where you are and what you do. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Now I'm emotional.
Thank you. Right. We like a bit of emotion. So Suzanne, tell us, and I think probably all our listeners or watchers know what I'm going to ask by now, because this is a question that I ask all my guests. If you could go back and talk to Suzanne before all this started, what advice would you give her, or what would you say to her?
Yeah, listen to your gut. Listen to that little voice. If it's not right, it's not right. Don't try and smooth it over just because, it's not right, it's not right. And trust, for me, to trust in my abilities to rise above the dark times. And to know that I do have the courage, I do have the strength, I can start again. I don't, it's going to be okay. We grow, we learn, and yes, you will experience a better life. I don't, so I suppose that's what I would say. It'll be okay. Yeah.
Beautiful, love it. And so, and I'm assuming that is you've already said a little bit, that is the same advice that you would give to anyone who is recovering from abuse, or maybe still dealing with ongoing abuse?
Yeah, I had to write a few things down because there's a bit here. So believe in yourself, believe that you have the courage and the resilience to start again. That was the biggest thing for me. I think that I didn't think I could start again. Oh my God, my first marriage, I had to start again. Then I moved 2 states, had to start again. So that's 3 times. Now I was facing a 4th time of just uprooting again and starting from scratch. I'd been away from Adelaide for 8 years, and I thought, what is there for me there? Well, my family, obviously, that's what drew me, but I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a job. My friends had sort of moved on, and yeah, so, but believe in yourself and your courage, your resilience, that you can start. Choose not to be a victim. Choose to stand up for yourself in whatever way is safe for you, but make the choice. And choose to be a thriver, not just a survivor. Choose to thrive. That's what I would say.
I absolutely love that. That is just so good. The last question I have for you is, do you have any suggestions to maybe family and or friends that, you know, they might suspect someone's in an abusive relationship or another situation? Do you have any advice that you might want to give them?
Yeah, just to listen and be supportive. There were 1 or 2 people that didn't believe me, I don't think, that they just, you know, I felt very betrayed by one person, and they just didn't believe. But I suppose, listen with the 3rd ear, not the 2 ears, listen with the other ear. And help them to see, once the person comes around to thinking, yes, there is a way out, that they are supported and it's possible to start again. It's completely possible to reinvent yourself, to start, to find meaning in life. You're not stuck. So and just let people know that they're not stuck, and that there is a way out. So and you know, that support, I suppose. It's knowing that there are other people there to help you, listen to you, not judge you, but will do whatever is needed that you're capable of accepting at the time. Because I think, you know, we're all in different states, mental states, and sometimes we're not ready to listen either, you know, as the person in the situation, but or we're not ready to take on advice because we haven't come to a certain space or time in our life. But yeah, just listen, be there.
Excellent. And exercise patience. That's right. Like you say, if they're not ready to listen to any advice, yeah, that's important.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne. It's been really uplifting, actually, to, you know, hear your story and now know where you are now. And I have to say, I absolutely love the name of your business, Your Inner Calm Coach, because you just exude calmness, inner calmness.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it is the absolute perfect name for your business. So in that, tell us, so if there are people out there wanting to learn more about hypnotherapy for weight loss and Reiki, how can we get in contact with you?
Yep, so I'll post a link. I've got a Facebook page. It's called Your Inner Calm Coach, and I do have a business website, but and my contact number. So look, I would love to chat with anyone if they're looking to just to see what, you know, what hypnosis will do for them. It's just so amazing. I work with timeline therapy, and we help to just get rid of old emotional stuff. So if I had known back then that there was someone that could take this pain away, then I would seriously consider it, because it's timeline therapy is so amazing, and it's not talk therapy. It's we're just working with the subconscious mind, and we work with hypnosis as well, and it's just so effective in giving us a good head start, and to start where we stand now rather than dragging the old stuff and trying to move forwards, you know, with this chain, this heavy ball and chain. Yeah, I would love to have a chat with anyone who's looking to get rid of negative emotions, looking for some beautiful Reiki healing, stress relief, lose weight, anxiety. Really, there's a lot of things that I can help people with, and I've got a lot of life experience, and more than likely I've walked in your shoes, and so yeah, I think that helps too.
Incredible. And I have to say, Reiki is something that I have been told by several people that I would be very good at myself. So you just might be hearing from me real soon.
Simi, yes, I would love to teach you Reiki. Yeah, I would love to teach anyone Reiki. It's just so beautiful.
Excellent, Suzanne. Thank you so much for coming on the Purple Warriors podcast today.
Thank you. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much.
No problem. We'll see you again soon.
Okay. See ya.